So I've realized that nothing really makes me happy anymore, and I recognize that sounds like what a lot of other people are experiencing right now in their world. But let me explain, because the things that used to make me happy aren't needed anymore. I'm already happy. I'm I'm already experiencing what I want to experience in my right now moments. And in my right now moments, I'm I'm focused now. If I control me, how do I want my life to be? And if I'm torturing myself, I have to ask why. Why have I look at this? Um, yeah, would you know that there's a golf course out here? It's kind of nuts, right? I mean, it's like way out here. Why would you find a golf ball? Oh, because that's my golf course. I don't have to go anywhere for it. I can just go right outside my door and I hit golf balls up onto the hill, and I just pick out whatever spot I'm trying to hit, and then I judge myself. I say, well, you got close on that one, or well, you could use some practice on that because you weren't anywhere close to that target. And that's kind of like archery too. Archery has a term called sin, and in that term of sin, it means that you've missed your mark. You've missed the point that you're trying to be at. And so what happens? What happens when you do that? When um, you miss the mark where you want to be in life, right? You come up and you're like, ah, shit, it's kind of a dead end. You know, maybe that's drug usage or a relationship. Then you come back to where you had a choice again, right? You could go up that little rocky path and hope to see your way out of it, or you could take a path um, a little more traveled at least, and it might take you down into somewhere that you gotta crawl back up out of. Oh, but looks like this path is a pretty good one. It seems like a lot more people are taking this clear pathway, right? And there might have been people that have taken this pathway and wanted to make it a little bit better for others. Made it a little more navigable because they realized it's a good one. And that's, if we consider, like that was going to be a pathway, but I mean, maybe it's not a good pathway because it's got obstacles in it, right? Sometimes obstacles can just show you how acrobatic you're capable of being, or they can present to you knowledge of where you hold limitations. So, in your pathway of life, where do you want to be? Right? And sometimes it's okay to explore back up in here into these shadows, because what we find can help us enjoy our day. Like, oh, it looks like this is the best way, right? Because somebody has put some time and energy into showing it. anyway, in your pathway in your day-to-day life, um, what do you want to experience? You know, because that's what should be your. Sound like a quail. That's what you should be experiencing if you're living a free and beautiful life. So I mentioned that my happiness doesn't. Nothing makes me happy anymore. But that makes life so much easier because I'm just already happy. Because that's my choice. It's my choice. Always. Even right now, I've got people stealing money from me. Stealing stealing what I've earned, right? They're trying to, and they are somewhat successful. But am I going to let them take away my peace and my calmness? Nope. They don't get that power over me. I'm going to be who I want to be, always. I don't give other people that power over me to control how I feel. And, I mean, it is nice to hear when somebody thanks you or tells you that things that you've helped them with have helped them in their life. Because, you know, there's a lot of people that are really struggling. A lot of people really struggling. Okay. Wow, nice little resting place right here. I don't know if you can see this, but it's a pretty cool little couch. Built right in to the landscape. Nice little place to sit down, relax. I mean, like my days haven't always been like this. I mean, you know, I used to have to get up at, you know, like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning and get ready and drive all the way to work and then work all day doing things that I wasn't really excited about. I mean, it was paying well, so it was motivation for me to do it because I was able to um, make my digits bigger, right? My digits in a bank, right? And there was a lot of stress associated to that because, you know, like, what if your car breaks down? What if you're late? What if you're? And I mean, I actually got speeding tickets before going to work, and um, I mean, I'm sorry that I broke the rule that somebody somewhere else made up. But I mean, my boss was a real dick. That if you were even just a couple minutes late, you know, he had no empathy, no real awareness that sometimes shit happens, right? And sometimes shit might be diarrhea, right? I mean, or you know, there might be things that pop up in people's life that there should be more flexibility in how we interact with each other. I want to talk about one of the things that's making a lot of people unhappy right now, is government, right? And um, I people people have been fighting this game of left or right or left or right or left or right, and they've been pushing their will on other people, right? By force, fraud, and coercion to get other people to do things the way they want them to do them, right? And that is control. And that's well, let's see, that's the opposite of free, right? I mean, free will is the first law. It's the first law. If we are free, if we are equal, if we respect each other, um, if we think that we want to have an environment that is conducive to the things that we want. I mean, because right now, holy bat balls, um, a lot of cities resemble a cartoon that had a place called Gotham, right? I mean, you got criminal overlords running the courts and the cities, and all the taxpayers are being burdened with all of these penalties and fees and taxes, and they're being used for all sorts of nefarious reasons, right? I mean, and that's happening a lot of places, you know. But what is that? What is it? We used to have a problem with the mafia, right? I guess a long time ago. I mean, I wasn't here for that, or at least in this skin suit. Um, but then those all went away. But taxes just went up. What? Wait a minute, huh? What if the only people like running around shooting people have just joined forces? I mean, because it's the gangs that are doing the violence. I mean, there's people doing some violence too sometimes, but it's mostly the gangs. And it's my belief of I'm my gang daddy is better than your gang daddy. And then you got religions, and they're, oh, holy shit, they're the ones. They're like a gang. They're fighting. They're starting wars. My God, my sky daddy is better than your sky daddy, right? I mean, is that what we really want to do? I mean, my belief is based in free will, because if that's the first law, that's the I am, that's the holy, that's what's up. I mean, like, if you're gonna make your choices for you based on your experiences of life right now, why wouldn't you make them in the way that you want, right? And that's how I got to where I'm at. Is I just started asking questions about everything that I was doing, and I'm like, is that the way I really want to do it? Is this the way I dreamt of doing it as a child? Do I want to live in the perpetual debt of everything, living in a city, or do I want to live out here, live out in the desert, or live out in the forest, or live on the ocean, or live out of my van? Because we have feet, right? We don't have roots. I mean, we can grow roots, basically. I mean, we can make attachments or things to a certain area or space. But if that's limiting you, I mean, how many people travel anymore, right? I mean, it makes it people think that it's really scary to go outside of this country. It's actually fascinating. I mean, it's like, holy crap, it's neat to see the way other people live, other people that haven't aligned with advertising. I mean, the clothing that we're wearing, well, is like right here. These have been advertised to us. They're available from commercial um, corporate entities. I'd actually rather have one made by a local grandma, and that's how some of my clothing is. But happiness comes from freedom, right? And the opposite of freedom is control. So let's talk a little bit about how how government has come into the way it is right now, right? Because do you consider yourself just like a community member, or do you consider yourself a U.S. citizen? right? And sometimes people complain that U.S. citizens don't get the same benefits as illegal immigrants, right? But when we really start diagnosing how much manipulation of the words has been done, we have to realize that a legal system, the EGLE system, is based on control. And it's even controlling people who haven't harmed anyone. It's been established in opposition to God's law, which is free will. So if free will is the first law and everybody has it and everybody should honor it in others, the first violation of the first law is the theft of consent. And if you've, you can do anything you want with another person as long as it's consensual and they're at an age of consent. Free will is the absence of control, but it's not the absence of accountability. Because if your free will choices are hurting another person, then the other people around you have the right to make you stop in support of that other person's free will, right? You can't come and take my resources and say, well, that's my free will, I can do that. Well, no, because I've rightfully acquired resources, and you can't just come and you can't push your will on other people, right? But now if you came to me and you said, hey, I would like to use these resources and this is how I'd like to do it, and your way was better than my way, well, I'd just help you. It would become my free will to help you in your free will to achieve what we want to see happen, right? But what's happened is Washington D.C. is a sovereign entity. They were like the mafia that moved into town and they said, hey, we're gonna tax everybody, and we're gonna throw you in jails just if you break some of our rules. And everybody was like, "Screw you, dude! You know we have we have forks and guns, right? So you're not gonna do that." And they said, "Oh, you're right. I didn't know you guys were so feisty over here." England was much easier. London, right? And the Vatican, the Vatican, they just had to say, "Hey, we're going to really hold you accountable for your actions if you don't come along for the ride." Well, so then what happened is Washington D.C. said, "Oh, hey, well, we better spread out a little bit. Let's put a spot in every state, and let's offer services for a really good deal, right? We'll take care of all of the things that the people don't want to take care of, and we'll provide it to them for a really good deal, and we'll give them the sense of a bigger community." And people would be like, "Hey, that's a pretty good deal, right?" I mean, when Pacific Power was first introducing power to people, there was incentives. There was incentives for you to get on board, right? But now it's very expensive just to connect because it's popular and people are used to it. It's become part of the culture. So if you are a citizen of the US, you are you are an owned property or an owned corporation of the Washington D.C. Or you can be a community member. You can be like what I've established here is a 508c1a, which is a faith-based organization, FBO, a ministry, right? I mean, I want to serve people, not steal from them. I want to serve the land, not just consume from it. I would rather participate in projects together voluntarily that we want to see done to make them happen than steal a bunch of money from everybody and um, and then hire the contractor that's going to offer us the biggest kickback. I mean, these things are happening. How else are these senators and stuff becoming millionaires on salaries that are basically matching what they're spending? I mean, they've got the equivalent of, if you were to rent a place that that would cost you $4,000 a month. I mean, they're driving really nice cars, and I mean, people can afford that, sure, but I mean, are they of service to you, or are they serving you like the bull does to the cow for the farmer, right? I mean, I when I started learning all about all this stuff, though, it wasn't making me happy, right? I mean, I was like, what the heck, right? But then I realized it was my free will to participate in the things that I was participating in that were so expensive and that offered them so much control over my life. And then I realized that there's another way, and you can operate in the private domain. And I'm not all the way there yet. I mean, I am living there, but I haven't gotten all of the assets and stuff that like my home, that place down there that I rent out because I can't afford to live there unless I go have a job, right? Even though I bought all of the resources, and I paid my friends a little bit to help me, and I put a lot of labor into it, but it's not mine because somebody somewhere says that if I don't pay the property taxes every year, that they'll come and steal it from me, and that's pretty messed up. That's the government being the biggest thief of our happiness, our senses of security. They were hired to solve homelessness, and they're hired to solve crime. And they're hired to give us, good roads to drive on. They're hired to make sure that the elderly are being taken care of, or the ones who are mentally ill. We've hired them to serve us. But what's happened is that they're they've stepped into roles of a predator rather than a servant. So, but they're only a few people. I mean, like, they only get their power because people believe in it. And when we believe in the authority of somebody somewhere else, we're giving up our free will. And when we give up our free will, um, I mean, you're in a slippery slope to slavery. So anyway, but I know that I'm controlling the things I can control about me right now, and so that makes me happy. And I'm doing the best I know how to do. If you see some of my other videos, I talk about how implementation of permaculture can help to reduce fire, flood, erosion, and drought. We can also reduce famine because anytime you've increased the amount of hydration to an area, um, you're going to increase the amount of plants that can grow in that area. And when you start doing that, you start reducing the load on people of consuming from the grocery store for a fee, and instead they can go gather at the source for free. And anyway, yeah, um, I guess that's all I got to say about that. Don't worry, be happy.